From cook to killer, Erin Patterson has been convicted of murder. Jurors today found the 50-year-old guilty of murdering her estranged husband's parents and aunt and trying to kill his uncle with a beef Wellington laced with death cap mushrooms. The verdict comes almost 2 years after the fatal lunch that devastated a family, rocked a small community and captured global attention. After an intense 10-week trial, the jury deliberated for days before delivering its decision. Sacha Payne was in court and begins our coverage.
2 months after she arrived in a prison van for the start of her Supreme Court murder trial, Erin Patterson is leaving Morwell, a convicted triple murderer.
What does Erin Patterson have to say? Will you be
How's she feeling,
Colin?
Expecting to appeal?
The jury deliberated over 6 days, returning just after 2 p.m. today to deliver their unanimous verdict. Erin Patterson showed no emotion as all 4 charges were met with the word guilty. Several members of the public sitting in the court broke down in tears, while outside the court, one supporter spoke of her disbelief.
I'm saddened, and it is what it is.
Police congratulating the prosecution and detectives.
I think it's very important that we remember that we've had 3 people. 3 people have died, and we've had a person that nearly died, and that has led to these charges.
Today's verdict comes nearly 2 years after Erin Patterson invited her estranged husband's relatives to a special meal. The guests started feeling unwell late that night, going to hospital the next morning. A week later, sisters Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson died within hours of each other. Don Patterson died a day after his wife of nearly 50 years. 7 weeks later, the sole surviving guest, Ian Wilkinson, was discharged from hospital. In November, Erin Patterson was arrested and charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Exhibits released by the court today showing photos of the deadly meal. CCTV showed Patterson's movements in the days after the lunch as she discharged herself from Leongatha Hospital against medical advice. Also heard by the court, the 000 call by Dr Chris Webster to police requesting their assistance to bring Erin back to hospital.
The meal was consumed by 5 people and 4 of those people are now hospitalised and Erin presented this morning.
A doctor took photos of the leftovers of the beef Wellington meal. Photos of the police investigation showed the table where the deadly lunch was served. Ian Wilkinson's writing showing the seating arrangements, as Erin handed over a phone to police, with plates and cooking equipment scattered around the kitchen. Despite attending almost all of the 2-month hearing, no family members of the victims were in court for the verdict. Ex-husband Simon Patterson seen leaving his home late this afternoon. He has not spoken to the public. Erin Patterson's prison transport departing Morwell earlier this evening. She'll be sentenced at a later date. But for now, this chapter in a case that has captivated the world is over. Sacha Payne, ABC News, Morwell.
We're joined now by our reporters Sacha Payne and Alexandra Alvaro, who have both covered this case extensively for Morwell over the past 10 weeks. First to you, Sacha. You were in court for the verdict. What was it like?
It's a very small courtroom and it was packed with supporters of Erin, supporters of the Wilkinson and Patterson families, lawyers, detectives and of course a jury of 12. There were lots of sweaty palms and shaky hands and as you could hear a pin drop as we waited for that verdict. First, attempted murder in relation to Ian Wilkinson, guilty. Then very quickly after that, 3 more guilty verdicts for the deaths of Don and Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson. And earlier today, just an hour ago, the Corumburra Baptist Church released a statement. Ian is, of course, a pastor at that church. They paid tribute to the victims, saying that the journey has been a very long one. They thanked church members, the community and church members around the world for their support. They also said they would continue to support the Wilkinson and Patterson families and asked for privacy at this very difficult time.
And to you, Alex, what are the next steps in this case?
Well, Isk, we're now entering the sentencing phase. So in the coming weeks and months, there'll be pre-sentencing hearings. This is where the parties will get together. The prosecution and the defence will both have the opportunity to put forward submissions, arguments on what they think Justice Christopher Beale should take into account when he delivers that sentence. Now, we haven't heard from Erin Patterson's defence team as to whether they would possibly launch an appeal. After the sentencing takes place, they'll have 28 days to lodge that potential appeal, and they'll be able to appeal the conviction or the sentence or both. So no word on that yet, but what we do know is that Erin Patterson is facing up to life in prison.
Alexandra, Alvaro and Sacha Payne in Morwell, thank you both. Now, today's verdict brings an end to 10 weeks of intense focus on the town of Morwell in the Gippsland region southeast of Melbourne. Dozens of local journalists and media from overseas have been covering this case. Joseph Dunstan has the details.
I want to tell you about this wild story I'm covering out of Australia.
A global focus on a Victorian country town.
It's a case straight out of a true crime TV drama.
一位妇女准备了迷菜。
Olha só que história curiosa. A polícia da Austrália.
Erin Patterson invite ses ex-beaux-parents à déjeuner.
The Australian mushroom poisoning fatalities made headlines far beyond the sleepy Aussie town in which they happened.
I can't actually remember an Australian case which has garnered quite this much international attention.
Australian podcasters, including the ABC's Mushroom Case Daily, have been trawling over every detail. But so too have international reporters.
It just resonated. It resonated with an audience all over the world. Within days, he was in a coma and he was in hospital for 7 weeks.
Caroline Cheetham hosts the Trial podcast for Britain's Daily Mail.
For a UK audience, it's got glimmers of Agatha Christie, of Midsummer Murders, and it just feels so totally off the wall. Bizarre, crazy, bonkers.
All the ingredients she needed to travel to this remote corner of Australia to cover the trial.
People like me coming in from the UK, the States, wherever we're from. And I think the local community are perplexed by us, probably irritated by us. I think we spend a lot of money around here, so that's also good.
The local council has released figures confirming the financial benefit of the media influx, with spending in May up $2.5 million on last year, while Morwell's businesses raked in more than $300,000 extra.
Bit of hype around the town, especially for being Morwell, a smaller town, so definitely a lot of attention for us, which hopefully that's good for business, so we'll take it.
We try to invest in the area to make sure that we can keep what's here, so it's nice to actually see a little bit more around and hopefully they come back.
And with plans already in place for a TV drama on the case, the impact of this trial could flow on for some time yet. Joseph Dunstan, ABC News, Morwell.